Ready, set, ready to drop.
Hey guys, Spud here from Pigeon Statics. Today we're moving back to some more serious DCS World content to do some Top Gun myth busting, so to speak. So warning here, if you haven't seen the movie yet, there are definitely spoilers ahead. We all know that the big mission flown in Top Gun Maverick had some counterfactual and fantastical elements to it, which were done in order to make the movie more cinematic, and because SA-3 Goas look a lot more menacing than SA-10 Tell tubes, and flares are far more dazzling for moviegoers than chaff bundles. However, today we're going to look strictly at the weapon release profile, and whether or not it's possible to replicate it in DCS, and even if it's even remotely possible in real life as well. There are a few things for the movie's depiction of the low-level release of the GPU-24 Paveway 3s, such as the use of buddy lasing by an aircraft in trail. In this video, you'll see the team and myself work through the various proof-of-concept tests as we creep closer and closer to replicating exactly what you are seeing in Top Gun Maverick. If we can determine that the weapon release profile is even remotely plausible, we can move ahead with planning out a full multiplayer mission built around the storyline in Top Gun Maverick. But before we get started, we have to thank our sponsors. Thrustmaster, the maker of a number of flight sim peripherals, is running a special promo for their entry-level system, the T-Flight 1 Hotas, for all you guys looking into trying out the DCS F A-18C Hornet after watching Top Gun. I can tell you right now, it's much better than missing out on 95% of what gives a Hornet her sting in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Our second sponsor is, of course, Fox 3 Managed Solutions. Luck and his team have created the best DCS World server service to date, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do half the amazing multiplayer experiences that we enjoy on the Spuds Buds Discord community and that you guys get to enjoy with us on the channel. Links and codes are pinned in the comment section down below, so let's go ahead and get to it, guys. Alright, so guys, here we are with our Photoshop document. As kind of use this as our whiteboard for our proof of concept test today to see if we can replicate the mission and the attack profile that was flown for executing the mission in Top Gun Maverick. For those of you guys who haven't seen the movie yet, this is definitely spoiler territory, so definitely go see the movie before you watch this video. But basically, just to catch up, even some of the guys in the group here who have not seen the movie yet, essentially, what we've got here, the situation is we have a bowl of mountains. So we have a mountain here, we have the target down here, and another mountain. Excuse my crappy drawing, I'm drawing with a mouse. And then we have our target situated down here, which is basically the ventilation shaft of a nuclear production facility that we need to get the kind of protective cover of the ventilation shaft knocked off, just like in the movie with the first batch of bombs, and then we need to get the two pairs of GPU-24s down the ventilation shaft and into the facility down below. So herein lies the problem. Essentially, the way that the mission is set up in the movie, there are SA-3s on top of all of the mountains that ring the area. So what they basically called this a very, heavy integrated air defense system. In the movie, we all know in the movie, I believe they called them SA-10s, even though we can clearly see them, they're visually SA-3s. And in the movie, for some reason, the pilots decided to pop flares for radar-guided SAMs. But that's not what we're here to criticize. We're here to talk about and do a proof of concept whether or not we can actually fly the attack profile that is depicted in the movie to drop GPU-24s onto our ventilation shaft to get them into the nuclear facility. So basically the way the jets are going to fly and the way we're going to fly them is we're going to have two pairs of blue jets, with the lead jet, of course, will be flying up and over the mountain, pulling upside down and pulling down the mountain in this direction to then release their weapon, which will then impact the target area, and they will pull up hard, of course, and overstress their jets, over-G it, just like shown in the movie, to get up and over this second ridge, to get out of the bowl of mountains. Of course, our second aircraft, let's color the second aircraft green, will be flying in trail behind our weapon release aircraft to then, at the apex of their dive into the target area, they're going to start lasing this target down here to allow those GPU-24s to impact with a high amount of accuracy onto the ventilation shaft. The first, of course, the first pair of F-18s will knock the cover off the ventilation shaft, and then the second pair will actually put their GPU-24s down into the ventilation shaft to blow up the nuclear facility down below. So basically, in my opinion, I think the hardest thing here is going to figure out how we can release those GPU-24s to actually get them to impact the target area down here in such a quick and short succession of the attack profile. There are a lot of limitations on how the GPU-24 can be used, so we may not be able to replicate exactly how it looks in the movie, as well as, of course, there are limitations on the targeting pod. One of the big things in the movie that makes a lot of sense and is rather realistic for how they're trying to pull off this crazy attack is there is an aircraft behind buddy lasing that's always going to have their targeting pod on the target while the weapons are falling, because in individual tests, if you self-laze this weapon, you're going to mask your targeting pod or over-G it coming up and over the second ridgeline of the bowl before the weapons impact. And if you over-G the targeting pod, it's going to go off, the weapons are not going to impact correctly, or you'll just over-G it and completely break it, or just mask it behind your aircraft as you're pulling up. So based off of that, guys, you guys have any suggestions of how you think this should go today in DCS World, or have you done any testing yourselves to kind of proof out this a little bit? Just go ahead and have a little discussion here.
So I've never tried this before, but I'm just wondering, do we need to get an LST on it from the lead aircraft, or is it just drop and then it just automatically guide in on the laser code?
I think the best way of doing this would be basically, have a designate point on the target and then just go in and CCIP, because the bomb's going to guide off the laser. You just need to be in roughly the right area.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, in the movie, they say that GPS jamming is in effect in the area, and so GPS is ineffective. However, the INS systems of the F-18, while they are going to be heavily degraded by the point they get to the target area due to all the high G maneuvering flying through the canyon to get to the target area, it'll still be a good enough kind of situation where you could drop in CCIP or even in auto to actually get the weapon off into the vicinity of a laser basket, so that way they can then be lased into the target area. The difficult part, I think, is going to be for the aircraft that's going to be lasing, our green aircraft in our example here, is how far away in trail from the lead aircraft should they be? I feel like if you're too close, then you're not going to have enough time to laze the weapons on the target, and if you're too far away, the weapons will impact before you get a chance to laze the target. So I think that's going to be the hardest part of today.
So what I did... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay, so I tried this mission out in a quick and dirty DCS mission that I made a few days ago with self-lazing. And if you get it right, I found you have to go higher than what they did in the movie. I had to peak a little bit above the mountaintop so that the bomb would have enough time to arm itself and pick up the laser. And I also found that when I pulled up, it was best that as soon as I peaked the mountain and rolled over, I went to idle power and I pushed out the speed brake so I had enough time to keep the laser on. That might not be an issue if we have an aircraft in 5-second trail. But even with that amount of braking on my aircraft, the bomb hit like a second before the laser lost visual on the target while I was pulling up. So it's a very close thing with self-lazing. I'm not sure how buddy lazing is going to work exactly with that.
Gotcha. Well, I would say I did a couple of rounds of testing just like you did in the mountains on the Caucasus, and I came to the same conclusion that you got to be a little bit higher to get into release parameters for the GPU 24, as well as if you time it just right, you're at the perfect speed, you can self-laze it into the target area. And then, like you said, a split second after the impact, you mask your pod or you over-G it trying to get over the second ridge. So it's definitely really tricky. I'm interested to see with you guys how buddy lazing is going to work. My idea, at least for the proof of concept today, is to potentially fly this on like the Nevada or the Persian Gulf map, where it's nice and flat and it's a kind of a desert terrain, so it's easy to see the target area, and we can then pretend we're pulling up and over a mountain to then pull down on the target and then roll off it. So that way we can kind of work on the buddy lazing aspect without having to throw in the variables of mountains and turbulence and things like that around the mountains, like on the Caucasus. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree, and I also think
Sounds
it'd
like
be
a good
worth. You can, by doing it on Nevada as well, you can start to work your way back and work out your parameters of your height that you need to get to, and also the distance that you need to start to pull up as well, just by knowing what your target waypoint is, and just hit different, like 3 mile pull, 2 mile pull, 5 mile pull, whatever it needs to be to actually get you on an actual valid target.
Gotcha. Okay. What I was thinking, for the sake of actually capturing video for this, that I would be at least one of the aircraft that are buddy lazing. And so what we'll do is we'll set up, like, I think an MIZ file where we'll have our target, we'll have a single target, say like a comm bunker or something of that nature. And we'll have 2 flights of 2 Hornets, and we'll get into a trail formation, and we'll kind of fly the profile as depicted in the movie. I think we should start off with like a 5 mile pull up, and I think that kind of the best place to get to was about 6,000 feet AGL, which on the Nevada map is nominally about 8,000 feet MSL, before starting the roll in to get down on the target area. I think having the Hornets in about a 1 nautical mile trail might work out pretty well. And then somewhere around starting the pull up at about 600 knots should get us up to that 8,000 feet MSL relatively quickly, and then pull up and over our pretend mountain and then down onto the target area. And then, of course, pull up. It'll definitely be, everything's going to rely on how far away from the lead aircraft, the weapon drop aircraft, that the trailer who is going to be lazing is going to be. I think that's kind of the big key here. But I guess we'll see. So what I think we'll do is we'll have some of you guys monitoring via like the F10 map to see and watch all of the players, and then give your critiques on what you're seeing and how it's working out from what you're seeing spectating. And then we can then work those critiques into subsequent runs of the trial of the mission. I'm thinking if we air start the jets about 50 nautical miles away, that'll give us enough time to get everybody in formation and everybody kind of able to set up their weapons and set up their targeting pods and whatnot to actually execute the attack. Do you think that'll work for you guys?
Yeah, 50 miles should be good.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and let's put a comm bunker, because that's a pretty big thing that should work well. All right, structures. Where's the comm bunker? There it is. Oh, that's the power. Command center. There we go. Perfect. That'll work. And then here, what I'll do is I'll have the first flight of 2 F-18s. They'll be spaced about, they'll be 15 miles out, and then the second flight will be 70 miles out, just so that way they don't run into each other. Yeah, so I'll just put the Maverick skin on the lead jet. So whoever gets to fly the lead jet will have the Maverick skin. All right, so the loadout more or less was AIM-9 X-rays on the wingtip stations. I know that they were Super Hornets, of course, but then they disregarded the wing stations except for the inboard and put the GBU 24s on the inboard wing stations, which...
They put it on the middle wing stations because you could see it when you looked out the window, and at least from my point of view, when you look out the window in the CJR Super Hornet mod, you can't really see the wing stations that well.
Okay.
So I think it was on the outer, the middle pylons on a Super Hornet, the outer pylons on a Legacy.
Okay. I'm gonna put them on the inboard pylons.
Yeah,
for the
that's
sake of they in the movie for the loadout on the movie they put them. I would have thought they would have put them on the outboard, but they put them more in the middle station, I guess you're saying. And so that would create less rotational torque around the longitudinal axis of the aircraft to allow for a better roll rate while you're flying through the canyon on the way into the target area. So I don't think the movie people or the Navy really maybe thought of that so much, or that, you know, as they're probably thinking, hey, this looks cool on the jet, we'll do this or that.
Yeah,
But,
I was gonna say the inboard ones look better.
Yeah. So, and then we'll put so the lead jets will have 2 AIM-120s on the cheek station, and the trailer jets will have the same loadout but have an at-FLIR pod on the left cheek station as a change to that. So
Also, I noticed that the trailers also had GBU-24s on them for whatever reason. So yeah,
yeah, I think that was kind of like as a backup for
probably yeah.
So we'll do that as well. And also, I guess it keeps, you know, same amount of drag, same amount of all of that stuff, allows the jets to fly closer in speed, I suppose. So we'll do that. And we'll put a target point right on top of our bunkers. And we'll put the altitude, of course, at 0, so that way you can just designate the target in your avionics, no problem. And whoops, don't want to. I'm just going to leave it one waypoint on top of the target area. They are starting about 50 miles out. Here we go. Perfect.
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay guys, for this first test, we're obviously not in the mountains. We wanted to eliminate the variable of having to worry about CFIT into the mountains, while trying to validate the flight profiles of getting to that perfect weapon release point, for both the actual weapon release aircraft and the trailer who's going to be buddy lasing those GBU-24s into the target. We started off here having a little bit of trouble getting the GBU-24s to override their programming and allow the drop aircraft to actually release their weapons whenever they saw fit as they're flying down the chute on the target. We're also trying to work out exactly when to start the pull up the side of the mountain to then get to the point to roll over and start the dive onto the target area, as well as how far back from the lead aircraft should the trailer be to have that optimum point to buddy laze those GBU-24s right into the target. Well, that's interesting. My targeting pod doesn't want to look at the freaking target.
Let's just keep it on 1688.
Yeah, 1688.
Yep, affirm.
Like the movie.
Wait, did they actually use 1688 in the movie?
Yep.
Yep.
Incredible.
And,
DCS players wrote that movie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at somebody just for, you know.
Pretty sure they used
It's gonna come up in
mountains.
like a movie facts on like movie detail /movie details. It's gonna be like you can see in Top Gun Maverick the laser code they use is 1688. This is inspired by the default laser code of Digital Combat Simulator World.
It's also the default laser code of almost every targeting pod in real life as well.
yep.
You and your logic. All right, you need to.
There's too much of it, damn it.
I mean,
All right.
some producer or something played like 50 hours of DCS.
Just I got one more.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Alright.
And
200 feet, Mach decimal 9.
Justin, what's your speed?
hey, stand by. 419. 419er. I'm
Speed
at.
racer. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's not important. I'm just. Altitude is 6,580, by the way. Mine.
And Dobby, what's your speed?
588 decimal 89.
Okay.
I'll put it
Damn, radar
580. We
altimeter.
should have enough overrun.
Roger.
Speed Racer pushing down to the deck.
Copy.
Mill power, hold.
Brooklyn, let's push down to the deck.
Copy.
I'm 15 degrees nose down.
Watch for the power lines.
Speed Racer 10 degrees nose down.
Alright, I just did a T-pod check and I'm hot lays on 1688.
Sure.
And I'm pulling up.
Roger.
Confirm
Pulling
7
up.
miles, 7,000 feet.
Five degrees nose up, Speed Racer. Or 5 degrees nose down, sorry.
And I'm at radar hold.
But
Holding
take
at 500 feet, Speed Racer.
I'm holding at 370 feet. Brooklyn.
You're holding barometric or radar?
Radar.
Radar.
Alright, I am exactly 1 mile in trail.
Sounds good.
But it'll be pull to the limiter on the climb, no overg.
Roger.
Ooh, excuse me.
Damn, I can't see you through my velocity vector.
Ten miles.
Roger. I need to fall back slightly.
And Brooklyn, I'm at
Miles.
406 knots. 406 knots.
W, pop up, now.
Roger, I see it. Pulling up.
45, hold.
Roger.
Speed Racer, I'm gonna keep eyes on their bombs when they drop. That way we have some BDA.
Okay, 7 miles is way too long.
Way too long? Roger.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll just keep going with the attack, and let's see if we can get the bombs on the target. Let me know when your weapon release.
W, pickle 2.5.
Blazing.
Altitude.
And pull up hard.
But I don't think you
No
have.
drop, no drop, no drop.
Speed Racer going afterburner.
A10 going to military power.
Yeah, weapons didn't drop.
And weapons didn't drop?
Neg.
Okay. Alright, let's run the test again. Let's have everybody respawn and see if we can get a string of Hornets to get it to work all in succession. And for the purposes of trying to replicate the movie, let's pretend we're in that mountain bowl. And so you got to fly straight ahead from the target area. There's no pulling off to the left or right. And so that way we can try to replicate what's seen in the movie as much as possible anyway.
But do you want AB for the pull, 6 miles, correction, 6,000 feet on the roll, and 5 mile pull?
Alright guys, so the first test run didn't go so great in terms of releasing the GBU-24s in the dive on the target. But with some remedial training, we were able to figure that part out no problem. But what that first test did give us is we were better able to hone in on what our flight profile should be in the weapons release profile. This meant that we were going to try to be at 600 knots indicated right on the deck. We were going to pop up from the target area about 5 nautical miles away from it, 45 degrees nose up to about 6,000 feet AGL, which is 6,000 feet MSL on this portion of the Caucasus map because it is more or less at sea level. Roll over, 45 degree nose down, release the weapons as quickly as possible, and then the aircraft that is buddy lacing is going to get nose onto the target, start squeezing that trigger to actually fire the laser, even if they're still upside down, because when they roll, the targeting pod doesn't care. It'll just roll with the jet and just keep firing that laser. As soon as they see weapon impact, that trailer buddy laser aircraft is going to pull up hard and get away from the target area. So this one did actually work quite well, and we got a nice string of weapon impacts from all flights of Hornets that were participating in the test. So enjoy the view, guys.
That they just might never have thought to think about.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Brooklyn, let's hit the deck here.
Copy.
Speed Racer going out of
Allies.
barometric hold, hitting the deck.
I'm going down, like 10 degrees nose down. Brooklyn.
Copy. I'm 1 mile trail now. I'm still dropping back a little bit.
15
Sounds good.
degrees, nose down, Speed Racer.
I'll speed up a little bit then, Brooklyn.
All right, Dobby, go 600 indicated.
Leveling out 100 feet.
I'm at 2 miles. What's your speed, Chester?
544 knots.
Woo! I always forget how hard it is sometimes to see the water.
Yeah,
I think I'm just in and out of AB here.
yeah, flat water conditions can be really difficult to see how high above it you are.
Yep, I almost found that out the hard way. Spud, may I ask, what's the nature of your flying job?
I'll tell you outside of a recording.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Dobby, 11 miles.
Brooklyn, I'm at 503 knots at 400 feet barometric.
Oreo is 1.5 mile trail now.
Roger.
And Brooklyn, I'm going to military power.
Oreo, when we go feet dry, afterburner all the way until the pull.
Copy.
6
I'm
miles.
bringing it back up to mill now.
Dobby, 5 miles, pull. Full mill. Full AB.
Roger. Got a visual on you. Ooh, this might work out real nice. Pulling.
Dobby, roll.
We know when you have weapons release.
And he got released.
Weapons away, 6 to go.
All right. Blazing.
Splash.
Impact.
Perfect.
Splash. Nice shot. All right, and pulling up straight ahead.
I had to go for the override there instead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, if you gotta override it, that's totally fine. As long as it's in the laser basket, it's gonna work.
1 alpha, 660 knots exactly, 320 feet exactly. Oh,
This makes your heart feel good, you know? Watch
And
out for
I'm pulling-
Soviet-style apartment blocks. And Brooklyn pull.
Coming around. Brooklyn, you ready?
Didn't get to your altitude yet.
Yeah.
There it is.
Speed Racer, 10 miles.
Laser.
Blazing, copy.
Pull back on
Bombs
power,
away.
Brooklyn.
I hope I didn't jump.
Looking
short.
good, looking good, looking good, looking good.
Yeah, they got it.
And Shaq. Nice shot. Beautiful.
Oreo's pulling up.
Beautiful.
Rolling over. Target in sight.
50 degrees, 6,000 rolling.
Speed Racer. Pickle.
Nice.
Oreo lasers hot.
Speed Racer pulling up. And over.
And that's a
Impact.
splash.
Nice shot. Nice shot. All right. So I think that pretty much proves the concept. You guys want to try moving it to the mountains?
Yeah.
Sure.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
Okay.
But I'm just not touching the throttle, so you've got some overrun.
Yep, roger that. I'm good to go. Alright guys, here we are on test run number 6. We skipped a few so that way the video wasn't too long and we didn't bore you guys at home too much. But as you can see, we're now in the mountains on the Caucasus map, and we're getting closer and closer and closer to what you see depicted in the weapons release profile in Top Gun Maverick. Now, as we get through these next few test runs, we're getting closer and closer and closer to what you see depicted, not just from the weapons release and impact standpoint, but also flying through the canyons in a close trail formation, then opening it up only when we get close enough to the target area that it matters. So that way we can get that really cool cinematic experience in my cockpit looking at the lead jet as I follow him around through the mountains. So definitely stick around for this last test run because it is going to be the penultimate exercise that's going to show us whether or not we can continue with building a multiplayer mission that will depict the storyline of Top Gun Maverick in the second half of the movie. So keep on watching guys, you're almost to the end.
Coming down right.
Roger. That was close.
You or me?
Me. I almost died.
Yes.
There's this one particular tall pine tree that worried me.
There was many, but we're all good.
Alright, dropping back 2 nautical miles.
Check.
And laser double checked. Armed, good to go.
Tail 2 set. Left now.
Back to burners. Roger. Alright, mountain in sight.
1. W max now.
Copy. And heading upstairs.
Over the top.
Copy that. Spud over the top. Lasing.
2-way.
Idle. Fuck yeah! Nice, Shack. Straight ahead. Nice job. That was fucking cool.
Hoorah.
Alright, let's watch the next guys.
I'm burning. Oh. Okay, I don't see why my bomb shouldn't release this time.
Copy. Alright, you guys look like you got good separation. That's your mountain to pull over right on your 12 o'clock.
Yep, got it. Yeah, I see a solid line.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna be pissed off if they don't release at myself.
Alright, Brooklyn, start your pull. Ooh, watch the trees.
Laser check, good.
Lasers, lasing.
Lasing.
Target in sight.
Bombs out.
Nice, 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 nice. Looking good, looking good. Come on, baby. Pull back on the power, Brooklyn. Nice, Shaq.
Got him.
Nice.
Speed racer pulling up.
And I'm egressing.
Over the top.
Pull back on the power, Speed Racer. Beautiful. Roll out.
There we go, and blazing pickle.
Speed brake in, just keep it idle. That's gonna be a shack. Woohoo! Nice!
Nice, we got one.
That's 6 bombs on target. Perfect. Alrighty, guys. Why don't we go ahead and do a little conclusion here? Alright, just like the Mythbusters like to do, let's go ahead and see what everyone's thoughts. Busted, plausible, or confirmed. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to say I think it's going to pretty much plausible. I think you could potentially do this. Obviously, we just proved you could do it in DCS World, but potentially could do it in real life if the need ever were to come about. So I'm going to definitely say plausible. How about you, Dobby?
Yep, agreed. Plausible. The profile's not too horrendous. The jet can take it. Plausible.
Cool. And Jester?
Yeah, I think it's plausible. Might be a little trickier with SAMs or AAA, but for sure you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. We took away all the variables today of interceptors, SAMs, AAA, all that good stuff. But again, in the movie, they did not show any AAA in the movie. If there was AAA, say on the top of the mountain there, around the target, I think we'd all gotten hosed pretty well.
See, I think we could have, if we were fast enough, we could have gone over the AAA to the point where it just cannot track us. But yeah, for sure.
True. That doesn't help for barrage flak, though. How about Brooklyn?
Definitely plausible.
Cool. And last but not least, Speed Racer, what do you think?
It's definitely plausible. I think some of the numbers that they say, like over-G'ing the aircraft at 9 Gs and stuff, isn't really plausible, but the overall profile, getting the bombs on target reliably like that, I think it's good. I just don't see why you do that in real life, but yeah, it's definitely a plausible mission profile.
Yeah, I mean, the profile is definitely plausible. Whether or not the military would execute that particular mission in that way, definitely not plausible. I mean, obviously we know they got a whole carrier air wing of Super Hornets and F-35s there. Why not use them all rather than send in, one small group of aircraft with some T-LAMs? But, oh, cool, man. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, for participating, and I really appreciate you sticking with it through all the different takes and whatnot. So, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Have a good one.
Take care, buddy.